Hey Josh.
Hey man, I only have an hour. Is that okay? And my headphones are gonna run out of battery soon.
Well, it has to be then.
Yes.
Glad to see you again.
You too. How are
How
you?
are you? I'm great.
Good.
I took your
My head
advice.
hurts. What was my advice?
2 years ago, we met in Miami and you white pilled me. Well, I was already white pilled, but I looked at your post again on X. The it's been a while, but I shared it today. The one with white pilling people into and psyoping
Yes.
them into starting a family.
Yeah. Oh,
And I'm
you're
doing
gonna
it.
have a baby?
Yeah.
Congratulations. Are you gonna get married?
Yes, I am.
There
I'm a
you
little bit
go.
late to the party, but well, we're
You
doing
had
it.
to do it. You had to do it.
I had to.
Congratulations.
I knew it already 2 years ago, but that I had to do it. I found the person and we're doing it. We're moving in with each other in a month.
Nice. Yeah.
And that's the reason why I'm not in Miami this year. I stopped
Oh,
my
okay.
gay lifestyle. I'm not gay anymore.
Nice. Congratulations.
So, how's everything going? I mean, I know a little bit about what you're up to, but it's been a wild year, right? We've
Yeah, yeah,
spoken
yeah.
exactly 1 year ago. That
Oh,
was the
okay.
last time we spoke.
Yeah, it's been
We talked.
nuts. Like a year ago I was planning on starting a company. I started a company. We raised some money. I got fired from Censored.
I know.
I mean, not
I
really
was very
fired.
sad to
There,
hear that
yeah, a
because,
lot of people were.
yeah, this was basically, well, one of my favorite shows. I love Gavin, obviously, but you were the other one that I never missed.
I know.
I've told you that before.
The thing is, the Censored never told me how many people watched or anything, and they're like, "We can't pay you anymore. We're gonna only do promo codes." And I'm like,
Mhm.
that wasn't the deal. Like that I came on for. So I wasn't pushing promo codes. I gave them like thousands of email. I gave them like 5,000, 6,000 emails that I had that they could target to bring on subscribers, and they never blasted it. They never used it. Um, so and the company I don't think is doing well if they can't pay me.
You
And
think that's what it is?
it is, it
Well,
is.
they
I
did
know
the
it is.
merger, right? And I thought
Didn't
that
do
this
anything.
would elevate
No,
them.
no. And I love them, but no one's really running it. You know.
So, any
So so
spicy gossip
no, no, just that they
inside?
couldn't pay me anymore.
Yeah.
I love them, and I don't take it personally. It's just how it goes, you know. And now more than ever, I think that the space for podcasting and political stuff, it's so oversaturated. And for me to go and start over again on like Gumroad or whatever, I don't have the the capacity to do that, you know.
Gumroad
So
wasn't the best place. I
no,
think you could have done,
Patreon they banned me.
yeah,
Patreon
I know,
banned me.
but
So
I've learned that, do you know Martyr Maid?
yeah,
He's kind of out there with his history approaches.
yeah,
And they told him on Substack that they would never cancel him.
yeah. I know. It's just there's too many things, you know, and I'm not a hot chick, so there isn't room for me. I don't think, you know.
Okay.
And if I lived in the States, if I didn't have a family, then maybe I would. But I'm over. I'm kind of over it, you know. Um, I've kind of said everything I have to say. I think it's time, and I need to focus on the company
Okay.
because that's where the money's going to be, you know. So
I hear that everything has been working out great for you with the company, with the sport drink, right? That's what you're talking about
yeah,
so
so
far.
we launched in August, and we've been making the batches. So for those listeners that don't know, Sport Drink is electrolyte brand, which is also oversaturated, but no one's doing what we're doing, and the branding is unlike anything that exists. The packaging is unlike anything that exists. The formula is like anything that exists. Gatorade used to do it 40, 50 years ago. They don't do it anymore. And I see it as a massive opportunity because there's a lot of interest in hydration and wellness and all of that. And we launched making the batches ourselves with, out of my co-founder's garage in Los Angeles. And we have been selling out the batches on our, the small run batches that we've been doing. Also, we've been tinkering with the formula. Um, and
The
I think we
formula
found the sweet,
basically is only a couple of ingredients, right? And real
it's like,
sugar. That's what it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically like five ingredients: magnesium, potassium, sodium bicarbonate, Dead Sea salt, sugar, and um, crystallized lemon lime. So no preservatives, no fillers, nothing like that. No fake sugars. Everyone likes to all these brands. They like to be like, proud of the fact that they don't have sugar. We boldly uh, market that we do use sugar because sugar is actually good for you. You need sugar, especially if you're active. So we then the last run we sold out end of December, and then the goal after that was to find a manufacturer and also find some money. And I raised a good amount of money. It didn't even every business I've ever done, raising money was the hardest thing and the most painful, like pulling teeth, like asking family, asking friends, asking, like begging. And this just happened serendipitously. Like I wasn't actively looking for it. And this hockey player that I've been in
Yeah.
touch with that loves sport drink, he reached out and was like, okay, I'm ready. I want to
He's a
invest.
pro, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a goalie for the Los Angeles Kings, and he
Mhm.
reached out, and I was like, okay, no lawyers. You'd get this much percentage for this much money, and I used ChatGPT to write a one-page agreement, and we both signed it, and the money was in our account a few days later. Super easy. I've
That's
never
great.
never done business like that before, but it's just a very straightforward product that he wanted to be involved with, and not only that, but like we haven't been advertising at all. And the sales that we've had have been completely organic. Again, not pulling teeth, not begging or anything. Like doing the podcast, I would have to reach out to people individually, like, hey, you should subscribe. Hey, you should subscribe. Hundreds, thousands of DMs. And it worked for a time, but like, again, it was a lot of work for little reward. And this is just happening seamlessly. Like, a few weeks ago, we got an email from management for a basketball player in the NBA, and the manager and they won the championship last year. He's the star center player for the Boston Celtics. His management reached out saying, "We uh, are emailing on behalf of so and so, and we want to know when you're back in stock because he wants more." And we're like, how the hell did he find us? Like we, you know, are brand new, no one knows us. It's wild. And I checked and it was the real management. We had a call with them.
Nice.
And when we relaunch, we're gonna send a bunch to the Boston Celtics. And so all that happened pretty much right when I got fired from Censored. And I'm like, all right, this is a sign. I don't need to be doing the podcast anymore. We're winning, and I
We're
need to
winning.
focus on yeah, I need to focus on what's best for our family,
Right.
and what do like it's right there. So it's about to blow up. We're going to be manufacturing in the next week or so, and we we're going to make 2,000 cans, and I think from there it's going to snowball.
Right. Um, you just said it. We're winning. We're so back. I mean, the last
Yes.
year was crazy, right? I mean, it's already February and everything has been analyzed and said already, but you're the first American I talked to since everything
Yeah.
has been happening.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm following everything, and also I never. I always think, how is this not a simulation? You're connected to so many people. Sport drink you gave to RFK. Then you
Yeah, yeah,
had some things going on with Ye last year. Today
yeah,
or tonight, last night, Ye basically reactivated his X
yeah,
account. He
yeah,
started shit posting.
yeah,
You had many thoughts on the Milo situation, Milo Ye, Fuentes Ye situation. These are all things I'm very interested in. I obviously
yeah.
followed you and all these things, but I think listeners of this show are not up
Yeah,
to date.
I was brought in. So when we last spoke, I was like brought in as like a political operative to work with Milo
Ye.
and Ye,
Yeah.
and um, that was really cool. And um, Ye, I was like always around him, but like we never really spoke. I was in the vicinity, and I was out there. So even after he decided he wasn't going to run for president, I was still involved on other things. And I was brought out there back in April because Ye wanted to do consumer packaged goods, and
And a news site, right?
well, I was working on that, yeah.
Yeah.
But he wanted to do survival products, kind of, like the only products that you'd need, that you like truly need as a human being. And I put together a whole presentation for him. I had a meeting with him at the Chateau Marmont in Los Angeles. He was really gung ho. He like immediately fell in love with me. Even though I met him before, like this was like the first one-on-one sit down with him. And then he wanted me to tag along with him, be with him the whole day. And
How is that? How can we?
it was very weird. It was interesting. He's a very eccentric person and very particular person. And he I was so the meeting was like an hour, and then after that I was with him for like 12 hours the whole day. It was just me and him. And then we went back to his wife's apartment, and uh he then like ordered chicken and we were just eating chicken together without utensils. It was really funny.
Can you elaborate
And
on the dentist situation with the drugs? Was he
yeah,
strung out
so
or
that's yeah, I mean that's public already, so I feel
right?
comfortable talking about it. When we were in the apartment, he was doing nitrous in front of me. Just me and him. He was just doing nitrous for a whole hour. It was crazy.
So it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the dentist is a bad guy, very bad guy.
Hmm.
You hear these stories with famous people and their handlers, and it's real. It's probably how Prince died. It's how Michael Jackson died. Um, you know,
Hmm.
there's a lot of predatory people. That's why I don't envy famous people. You attract, no matter what, you're going to attract bad people who influence you a certain way. And I don't really fault Ye for that, just because um, his life is unlike the life of an average person. And again, he's eccentric, and you know he probably feels like he can't die, and he's a god. I mean, he was telling me, I am literally God. He would tell me that. So that was crazy.
He would post
Uh,
something like that on X.
I mean, he told me that, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's how he feels anymore. But so then after that, we walked over a few apartments down, and he set up his friend Justin LaBoy. He set him up with a whole podcast studio, and they did a podcast, and they had me come on, and it was just me and Ye on it. And uh,
I want to listen to
like
that podcast.
it doesn't
They never
exist.
aired it, right?
They never aired it, no. And I don't even have access to it. I just want a
Tell me
picture, and
about it.
I
What
couldn't get
happened
a
there?
picture. It was like they were doing a show, and then they're like they were talking about the Jewish stuff, and then they're like, "Oh, we have one here. We have one here." And then I go on, and I was telling him, I'm like, basically the gist of what I said was like, I don't think you should apologize for your views on Jewish people. I don't think you should, I think that um, I think that groups of people, stereotypes exist for a reason, and you shouldn't have to shy away from that. And I don't think it's a bad thing to call out people because I don't think anyone should be um, immune from that criticism.
Also,
Um,
you shouldn't use your victim status, right? That's what you always say. You shouldn't use it
yeah,
as a.
yeah. I mean, like if people are like, I criticize all kinds of people
Mhm.
all the time, and I don't think any group of people should be immune from criticism. And so to cry like, and it's like it's interesting how we as Jews have like a special word, anti-Semitism. Like it's so powerful, and that was kind of basically what I said. And I think Ye was kind of shocked I said it and appreciated it. So all in all, we had a very interesting day, a very good day. Like I'll never forget it because it was just so out there. And I've been around many famous people in my life. I mean, in my teens, I know Paris Hilton. My family did her fragrance, and I'd travel the world with her and go to all these parties and events for our fragrances, and that opened up like that whole universe for me. Where now I'm not impressed by it. I'm not impressed by celebrities. Uh, Later on, we worked with Selena Gomez and Katy Perry, and I look at people who are flawed just like we are. They have access to things and they have money. So I'm not impressed by it. But Ye to me is impressive just because he is his own person. Whether you like what he says or not, he's a very, very different than everyone else. So, yeah, I'll never forget it. And I left that day feeling very good about what I was going to build with him. And I was also very nervous because he's a very, I heard Elon's like this too, where like if they're interested in you, they will latch on to you
Mhm.
and call you at weird hours. Like Ye would call me at midnight and, like just random times. And then it's like this. I heard that Elon's like this too. It just stops. And it lasted for a whole week. And it stopped because around that time is when everyone got fired. And I was collateral damage. I was part of the Milo crew, and everyone got let go. It was done before it began. So this past year, I basically got fired from uh, Yeezy and from Censored TV. But um, I I was like on the verge of something big with him, and that having a taste of that will either kill you or make you stronger. And for me, I think it made me stronger in the sense that like it really lit the fire in my belly, saying like, all right, you got to do something for yourself. Because although I was on the verge of something with Ye, I it 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 died because he's God in that world of Yeezy. He's the king.
Mhm.
And same thing with Censored. I moved to Censored like fully, only Censored like 6 7 months ago, and I knew, and Gavin's the king there, and I knew that it's a stable deal for me, and I don't have to worry about subscribers or anything. But I'm at their mercy, and with Sport Drink, I'm not at anyone's mercy
Mhm.
other than the customer. If the customer's not there, then it dies, and then I have to
Sure.
really figure shit out on my own. But um, you know, it's been an interesting year.
Is Milo involved in any way, or are
No,
you guys in
no.
touch with each other?
Yeah, I spoke. He called me a week ago when he saw that my show was done. He was like, "Congratulations,
What was that when
you're
he
not."
was trying to get back on, or they were trying to get him back on?
Yeah, he for a second, and then it just never
Yeah.
materialized. Um,
Well, he had that Nick Fuentes feud, And that was also Yay related, I think.
Well, yeah, because Nick was brought on board to Yay 24 by Milo. And the moment he brought Nick
That
in,
was a mistake, right?
yeah, the moment he brought Nick in, Nick pulls him aside and was like, if you fuck with me, you're out. And it's
Hmm.
like, I brought you in. But like immediately Nick turned on Milo because Milo understood working for Ye that there is no Milo. That the personality and persona of Milo is has to take the back seat when you're working for Ye.
Hmm.
Nick never understood that.
Hmm.
So Nick crashed and burned. Now, I thought that things ended poorly with Ye and Milo. Like that's what it looked like in the
Hmm.
beginning.
Do you think they're gonna team up
But
again?
they're
Because he attended his
um
party last night,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. So they're although it crashed and burned and I thought it was over for good, it I think they're cool with each other and I think
Hmm.
that they like each other.
Hmm.
So it's you know, I I had Ye's number and I think he got a new number. So when I restock Sport Drink, I'm gonna hit up Milo and be like, give me his new number. I want to tell him and see what
That's
happens,
what
you
I
know?
wanted to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I found really interesting was when that Milo Nick feud happened, you also made a lot of content because I think your main topic is basically the white pill having a family. That's one of your main, or used to
Yeah.
be when you had the show, right? That was a
Yeah.
reoccurring theme. And Nick Fuentes is a anti-family guy, and you had some very interesting thoughts on him as a persona and as that very spiteful
Yeah.
anti-family, anti-woman, and you didn't like that.
Yeah.
And I always appreciated you analyzing that and giving
Yeah.
your thoughts on that. Maybe you can.
Well, it was the thing is that Nick's whole world is his online persona. And that's the problem with being a podcaster or a streamer or someone really plugged in. You start off as a real person and then you morph into that entertainer and it bleeds into your real life. So then you lose sight of what's real and what's not. So he caught wind of the wife jack meme, which is like dudes who talk about their wives, you
Mhm.
know, in positive light, you know, and it's all cute and whatever.
And he thinks
Which
it's
yeah,
gay,
yeah, I mean it could be a
which
little
it
cringe,
isn't.
but he went all in on like being married is gay, having a family is gay, talking about your wife in any positive manner is gay. And I
At
was
the
like,
same time,
that's
he's a virgin, right?
yeah, or so he says, but um you can have that worldview when you solely live online and the internet is your life like that and you lose sight of reality. So my problem with it was that it doesn't it doesn't align with real human experience, and I think that he's lost sight of what it means to be a real human being.
Mhm.
And
So you think he doesn't mean it? I think
no,
he
I think
really,
that I think he does mean it, but
yeah,
I think that he has become a victim of his cult like personality.
yeah,
And I what I mean by that is like he drank the Kool-Aid of his own cult.
mhm.
And I
The
think that
Groypers.
yeah, I mean I
Yeah.
think that like he he's incapable of being a real human being. I don't know how clearly I can say it, but
Mhm.
someone asked me on my last episode of Wrong Opinion is it gay to be a streamer or a podcaster? And no offense,
That's
but
okay.
kind of. And you know, I did it for 5 years, and it kind of. I mean, there are people who, like you. You seem like a genuine person, but there's
Thank you.
a lot of people. A lot of people like Nick. They fall into that their own trap, and
He seems to
becomes
not
like
have a
a.
life,
Yeah,
a
I mean,
real
you
life. Yeah.
become. Yeah, you become like an attention whore,
Mhm.
and the same thing happens with actors. You know, like you as a man especially, you know, you sit in a makeup chair, and you always care. Not that it's bad to care about how you look, but you're just, and I don't think Nick cares about that, but you're on camera and you have to perform, you know, I'm a performer, you know, and that's the issue. And one of the things I kind of prided myself on while doing the show is I always tried to be me, and I didn't try to be a one dimensional version of me. And Nick is one dimensional, and a lot of streamers are one dimensional, and they then, and it's easy to be one dimensional. It's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to be a real person, and you see the same issue with young kids who are like TikTokers, and you know they're very animated and they're very, you know, and it's not, you're not a real, you cease to be a real person anymore, and you become a caricature of yourself, and that's him, and that's my main problem with him is, you know, you have an opportunity to spread not necessarily positive messages, but um, beneficial ones that would like messages that would actually be beneficial. I'm not talking about like positive affirmations that
But
women
he
like. I'm
is
talking
very
about,
negative. It's all
yeah, he's
so
very
negative. It's not
spiteful.
white. He's black pilled.
He's a bitch.
Yeah.
He's a bitch,
Yeah.
and he's fully embraced his bitchiness.
All of a sudden he hated Trump. He always hates women. I mean, making fun of women or the genders, the sexes, that's okay, I think. Basically, you're making fun of the psyop, of the strong and independent psyop. But he
Yeah,
seems to actually hate women and families and kids. And he has this Jew psychosis, like black
yeah,
people when they always say the white man, it's the
yeah,
white man's fault. Everything is the white man's fault. And for him, it's the Jews. And then all of a sudden, he started hating Trump. And he
yeah,
was an anti Trumper. And it was just too much. It was like, calm down, dude.
yeah.
I mean,
I
I
mean,
never liked him, but I loved your takes on him at the
yeah.
time. Yeah.
I mean, it's good to criticize Trump and you know all that, but to actively try to get him campaign for him to
What
lose,
was that? I
it's
mean,
I think it's part of his caricature that he fully became. I think that he is um what's the word? I forget the word, but he has to be on the opposite side to stay relevant
a
and to stay
contrarian.
contrarian and to stay shocking. And um, it's a losing battle because you're a hypocrite, you're not consistent, you're unreliable as a talking head, and you it's almost like you think it's easier to be on the losing side because then you
Right.
can complain more than to be like you don't know what it is like to win.
And he
And
has
right
no
now
vision of the future, where he wants to go, really. That's what
he
I feel.
has very, for being a smart guy, which I think he is, he has terrible instincts, like really, really bad instincts. The one thing I have, because I don't necessarily think like I'm really smart, and I don't pay attention to uh, the boring shit in politics. You know, like I don't know the ins and outs of like trade policies or you know, but I have good instincts, and it's the same thing with my business. It's the same thing with my marriage and wanting to have kids and doing that. I never ever think about things. I just do. I think
Hmm.
that your own worst enemy is thinking.
Hmm.
The logic side of your brain. People rely heavily on it because logic dictates reality. You walk outside, there's a tree, and you know not to walk
Hmm.
into it because logic dictates like that will hurt. There's a tree right in front of you. But logic, I think, can only take you so far. And then I think that the rest has to go with your instincts.
Did
And
you? Yeah, I'm
Nick
sorry.
has terrible instincts. Yeah.
Did you read the tweet from Ye where he posted last night? He posted, "Fuck everyone who reads, who
Yeah.
can read,
Yeah.
and who does it," or something like
I
that.
think there's kind of I think there's like some truth to that. I
Because you
remember like
said you're not smart or you're intuitive. That's what you
yeah,
said, right? And I think
yeah.
that's also what he meant.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, he fully goes with his instincts.
Yeah.
He reappears when he wants to, you know, and he somehow stays relevant. Yeah, I think your intuition is underrated,
Right.
and people are too afraid to rely on it.
Right. People always need to be told what to do, to wear
Yeah, yeah,
sunscreen, to whatever it
yeah,
is. Yeah.
yeah.
People don't trust their instincts anymore. And I
No,
think that's also a psyop. People are supposed to be like that. They're supposed to
yeah.
be weak. They're supposed to not know what they should do. Even the most basic things, the most
It's
common
funny
sense.
because yeah, it's funny because like the way we used to be as humans um, was completely illogical. We used to do human sacrifice and think that that would work and help with crops and whatever. But you have to understand why people thought that way, and I think it's because like when we relied on hunting, if any of your listeners are hunters, like a lot of that is instinct.
Mhm.
You're not out there thinking really. You're like actively doing and going by instinct because
It's
basically that's
almost
how animals
meditating, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that as we've gotten more domesticated and every all our needs have been met, then why would we have to rely on instinct? Why would
Mhm.
we, you know, go with our intuition?
Well,
But I'm the opposite.
modern society basically is a world without consequences. You can just live and it has no consequences. More so in Germany. It's like
Mm,
almost socialist.
yeah,
So if you lose your job, the government will give you money.
yeah,
Nothing matters really. And people
yeah,
are hollow. They're they don't know anything anymore. And I think
yeah.
in the US, you kind of that's what I said when we started the show. You're bringing it back, meritocracy. You're bringing back consequences, good and bad
Hmm.
consequences,
Yeah.
right? How do you feel about that? I mean, the last year was wild. Now it's all happening. Are you happy so far with the
Yeah.
Trump administration? I mean, it's
Yeah.
only been a
It's,
week, but it feels
well,
longer.
yeah, I mean, I think that my read on it has been correct. You know, I was saying that if he wins, if they don't steal it and he wins, it's going to be balls to the wall. He has nothing to lose. He's not running again. He and he's kind of exceeded my expectations.
Hmm.
I just hope that more than anyone, RFK gets confirmed, and then you can really start seeing a lot of stuff on the health side as well.
What do you think about
But
his Congress hearings? Have you seen it?
yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that they are going after him hard
Of
because
course,
he is gonna,
he threatens their.
yeah, he
Yeah,
threatens the pharmaceutical industry. He,
right.
you know, when he was announced as the nominee for HHS, the CEOs of all the pharmaceutical companies had a meeting, hands on, all hands on deck, And so I think that they're going to do everything they can to prevent it. But I asked someone who's close to RFK today, and I'm like, hey, do you think he's going to get it? And he's like, I do think he's going to get it. So let's see what happens. But I've been kind of blown away by Trump and the way that the country is set up. It's like, you can't have a king and you don't know who's in charge. And Trump is acting kingly, and I like it, and I hope
He likes
that
to
a lot of,
expand, right? Greenland, what's the other one?
yeah,
Colombia.
yeah.
He's looking at
No,
these
Panama
countries.
Canal. Yeah,
Yeah, Panama
yeah.
Canal.
I
Uh,
I,
I
I
mean,
like
I
it.
love it because the BRICS
It's
situation was already, they thought they had it already, all set.
well,
And America
yeah,
was an empire that was over, but
yeah.
it's not. It's back.
I mean, it feels like we're a real country again.
Right.
So I'm stoked. I'm excited to see what happens. I don't think that he's gonna um put a break on things. I think he's gonna only get savvier and quicker and more aggressive.
Yeah. He seems to be very, I mean, there's no comparison to Biden. Although people were
No,
always trying to tell us that he's also old now, he doesn't have it
yeah.
anymore, but there's no
You know,
comparison.
it's interesting because he kind of proved that you could actually do things, and that Biden was actively not doing anything
Mhm.
deliberately. And you could actually, like, with the stroke of a pen, try your best and fix the country. So everything bad that was happening the past 4 years was, and we were saying it, but we've been proven right on purpose.
I always thought, well, I always hated democracy. And now I
Yeah.
like it again because of Trump. I thought
No,
that this,
I don't like it. I think he should be named king for life. I'm not kidding. Because then
okay,
you'll know who's in charge.
right.
Right now he's undoing things, but the courts will block him, and people will actively go against him within the government, and we'll see what happens with that. But when
But he seems
Biden
to be
was in
taking
there,
on the deep state, right? I mean,
yeah,
a thing that he
but
couldn't do the last time. And
yeah,
now
but like
he's doing it.
if he was king, like he could be even more aggressive and more a threat to them, and when Biden was in charge, like you literally didn't know who was doing what. And that's the way that the government is designed. And I think that if he was a king or an emperor or whatever, you'd know exactly who's doing what and you'd know who to blame if things were bad. So I think Trump would be a benevolent king.
I love being America again. It feels like America again.
Yeah.
Everybody says woke is over. Do you think that's true? Do you think they're just stopping everything now? Not only in the government, but also big companies. Gay and retarded seems to be making a comeback
Yeah.
as words. They took the N word from us. That's okay.
Yeah.
But we're never going to
Yeah.
give them gay and retarded. That's what Gavin said.
Well, someone last week asked me if I was nervous about my company growing and people looking back at things I've said, and I
Mhm.
said no because I think that era is over. And I'm sure that there will be people like that when we grow, people are going to try to unearth things I've said, and I'll just retweet it. I don't give a fuck, and I don't think people will care, and I think that that kind of attention will only, and not backing down from that sort of attention will make us stronger. So I welcome it.
I think all the characters Trump brought in, it's almost like a Marvel superhero movie.
Yeah,
And the first time he didn't do it, he tried to be. They said he wasn't presidential, but the people he had around him, he was trying to play the game. And now it's like, fuck this. I'm just
yeah,
nominating every the most intense people that are out there for
Yeah.
all the jobs. And that's so, I used to call it before the Biden years, I used to call woke idiocracy. And
Hmm.
now it's not smarter, but it's like Chad idiocracy. It's still
Yeah.
idiocracy, but it's all Chads. What
Yeah.
do you think about that?
I mean, I think you're right, and I think that Trump, and he says this, that he was naive in the first go around, and I think proof that God exists is 2020 was stolen. We needed to see how bad it can get, and Trump came back a few assassination attempts, and he survived and blew everyone out of the
It was
water.
like a movie, basically.
We had to experience it. I mean, it couldn't have been scripted any better,
Right, right.
and it needed the world needed to see how bad things can get. The world needed to see Trump survive assassination attempts and then overcome being indicted and them threatening to throw him in jail and overcome the odds. And he's again going balls to the wall, like he doesn't give a fuck. And I do think it's Chad Idiocracy. I think that like having Hulk Hogan out there,
Yeah, I love the term.
uh,
And it, yeah,
I
yeah,
think
you're
that
right.
you have to signal how unpredictable you are in order to scare the people who've been um, basically attacking us for decades, and it's over. I mean, I hope it's over, but it
Who,
looks like it's
I'm sorry.
you know,
Go ahead.
no, it looks like at least we're gonna have a break for 4 years. Worst comes to worst.
Who are your favorite characters? I've mentioned it before with Sport Drink. You got the number, RFK's number.
Yeah.
You had a little exchange. Are you still in touch with each other?
I texted him when Trump announced him as HHS, and I said
Right.
congratulations. He didn't write. I didn't expect him to. I texted him the day of, which I'm sure he got thousands of messages. But when I wanted to send him some, I had his number for a year, and then I decided, all right, I'm gonna send him sport drinks. So I texted him, and I'm like, hey, I have your number because I used to work with Ye, and I put you guys in touch. Blah blah blah. I'm launching this. I'd love to send you some. And I thought, there's no way he's gonna respond. Just there's no way. He responded pretty quickly and said, yeah, sure. And he sent me his home address. He didn't send me an office. He didn't send me, he sent me his home address to send him some sport
That's
drinks.
insane.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the dude is fearless. I mean, he's cool.
He's the real
I like
deal,
him.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like him. I don't agree with him on social politics
Yeah, but the
a lot.
vaccination, the health
I mean, yeah,
stuff, that's
all that, and that's the thing. Like that's what someone like Nick Fuentes doesn't realize. You know,
he's
Trump
vaxxed.
disavowing Trump disavowing Project 2025 while he's campaigning, and then he gets in, and then he's implementing all these things. Like he was disavowing it because he was running a campaign. You fucking retard.
Right, right. Have you
Like
read the Project 2025 list? It's all great.
no,
It's no, it's
no, but yeah,
perfect. It's just
yeah,
it's
it
everything. You
sounds
look at it,
awesome.
and it's just well, yes,
Yeah.
that's what he should do.
So yeah, Trump's going to disavow that stuff when he's running, and he's going to. But then let's see what he does. You know exactly what Kamala is going to do. So why would you push for her as a joke, as a meme? Haha, that's funny. I guess you could do that when you don't have kids and you don't have a
Right.
future,
Mhm.
But if you have kids and you have a future and things matter, um, you know, it's easy for things not to matter. It's the same way as doing drugs or getting fat. It's easy to do drugs. It's easy to get fat because it's doesn't take any skill. It's hard to work out. It's hard to be healthy. It's so it's easy to like be flippant when you don't have a family. But when you have a family, like things matter. The future matters. You got to do everything you can to make it good.
Mm. Can you give me some dad suggestions? I mean, obviously RFK talked about health, talks about health a lot, and anti-vaccination,
Yeah.
being
No
anti-vax,
vaccines.
and also diet and all these things. What do you do? Well, you're a father.
Yeah.
You got two kids, right? Are you
Yeah.
also, have you never vaxxed them, or is that
No.
too
No,
personal?
they've never been vaxxed.
Good.
No vaccines.
I like that.
Yeah, I think
What
that
else do you suggest
uh
as a
I think yeah. Well, your wife shouldn't work.
right? We're doing that.
When you have the kid, um, at least for the first 6 months, the baby should be in your bed,
Hmm.
and sleep with you in your bed, not in a crib. And your wife might be like, no, we might roll over and kill it. Like, no. The first 2 weeks, you put it in like a little thing. I forget what it's called. Like, I forget, but it looks like a little tube, a little raft, like a
Hmm.
baby raft. And you put the baby in there in the middle of your bed, and baby wakes up. She like turns over and will breastfeed, and then the baby goes back to sleep. And you'll never, as a man, you'll never hear the baby at all, and you'll be fine. And it'll make your lives easier. The baby needs to be in the same bed with the mom. And after 6 months, maybe you transfer and you start doing what's it called, sleep training in the baby's crib. But that will make your life so much easier. The
Hmm.
baby and the mom cannot be separated in the beginning.
It makes
So
total sense. Again,
yeah.
with the intuition, people don't know that anymore.
Well, the reason that that went
But
away,
it's
yeah,
common sense. I mean,
it was I can't remember when, but I think like a couple hundred years ago, the Catholic Church said that the baby cannot sleep with you in your bed.
stop it. Us Catholics, when are you going to be Catholic, Josh?
No, wait, I don't know, but
I
but
know.
the only reason that the Catholic Church did that was because the women, they realized that babies were dying a lot.
Hmm.
And it was because the women were going nuts because they had so many kids that they couldn't deal with it anymore. And sometimes they would suffocate the baby on purpose. So the Catholic Church is like, no more babies in beds. Um,
Okay,
and
that's kind of smart.
yeah, but
It's
I
not.
think that we now that people are having like only two kids or
Yeah, right.
whatever, we're not
We
so
can do it again.
overwhelmed.
Yeah,
We could do it. The baby needs to be with you. Um, Yeah.
got it.
So no vaccines. Baby needs to be with you. Honestly,
No sunscreen.
especially no sunscreen. Honestly, the first uh year or so, people are like, "Oh, it's so hard. You'll never sleep again," which is a
Right.
lie. I mean,
That's
you'll never
bullshit,
sleep.
right?
You'll never sleep if the baby is in another crib, because it's always going to cry because
I
it's always
knew
going to be
it.
hungry. Uh, it's so fucking easy the first year. It gets hard when they're 2 or 3. That's when it gets hard, when they
Why
have
is that?
preferences, because they're their own person. They have preferences.
But then it's
You
really
know,
starts to get fun, no?
yes, it's fun, but it's hard. Something being hard doesn't mean it's not fun. It's
As long
fun,
as it's fun, I don't
but
mind
it's
it being
hard.
hard. Yeah,
So that's what I'm saying. Like when people are like, "Oh, you're having a kid. It's you're never gonna sleep again." Like that's fucking bullshit. And stop saying that. It's not true.
that's great advice. Thank you,
Yeah,
Josh.
you're
Um,
welcome.
but back to RFK. Do you think he will make America healthy again?
Oh yeah. Uh,
I think
I
that's
used
one
to
of the
think.
most important things. I think that's more important than immigration.
I think they're both equal,
Okay.
and yeah, but it's. I think that he will. I used to think because Andrew Breitbart said it, politics is downstream from
Downstream from
culture.
culture, yeah.
I don't really think that's true anymore. I think that
Why do you
culture is
think that?
downstream. I think culture is downstream from politics. I think that like if you have an effective government that has the interest of the people at heart, we'll take a look at El Salvador. It literally will change the culture. It literally will change how you live. Like you don't need to health wise, you don't need to teach the whole the population how to eat healthy. You make rules that ban the bad things, and people will just have to adapt. Um, and I think that most people don't have the capacity, the brain capacity to know about seed oils or whatever. I think you just need to tell them. And I think that maybe because politics has been downstream from culture, like we've all been fucked because of that.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Um, yeah. What about culture? I mean, we took back culture. I know you're a movie buff, a film buff, right?
yeah,
We talked style over substance a little bit. I saw
yeah.
you posting about the new Nolan movie. Do we not like Nolan? I used
I
to
just
enjoy him.
yeah, I thought the last one was whatever.
I'm
What was
talking
it?
about the Odyssey, the
Yeah, I know. I'm saying that
upcoming.
the Oppenheimer was whatever.
Did you not
The
like it? Yeah.
Odyssey, the casting in the Odyssey just looks really stupid.
Yeah.
You have
It's the tranny, the trans, the
yeah,
Elliot Page.
Elliot Page. You
Yeah.
have like Hamish Patel, who's a good actor, but like, what are you doing? When you do like a historical thing like that, like try to be consistent. That's what
We're
I like
gonna
about
watch it
Robert.
though, right?
Yeah, I will
Yeah.
watch it, but that's what I like about Robert Eggers is like he purposely makes his movies as historically accurate as possible, and it's a way to avoid doing like the woke casting whatever choices,
Hmm.
Um, it- you know, Nolan is bending the knee. I think
He
it's
is.
gonna,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's gonna backfire.
Hmm. Um, let's talk immigration a little bit. Do you have some minutes left?
I have 8 minutes.
Okay. I love the titles you give your shows or you gave your shows. I
Yeah,
loved I don't didn't like the topic so much, but I loved the title Operation Pooper Clip.
yeah,
I loved it. And I watched the whole controversy around it. I watched the Sam Hyde thing,
that was
and
brilliant. Yeah,
yeah, what is it with Indians? Why does everybody hate Indians so much? There was a poll the other day or the other week where they asked Americans if they hated Mexicans or Indians more, and they hate
yeah.
Indians more. What is
They're not trustworthy. They're scammers, dude. That's what they are. Like Vivek's whole business. The reason he's a billionaire, he's a scammer.
Mhm.
He made a shit ton of money because he bought like a failing pharmaceutical company that had a drug that was denied by the FDA, and then his mother or mother-in-law or someone in his family got it approved, and obviously because it kept getting uh, you know denied, it got approved. His stock went up. They sold, and the drug did nothing. And he scammed. He's a scammer. They're inherent scammers, and it's something
And they're a
about their
meme,
culture.
right? The
They're
pooper
mean.
clip there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
But why what I didn't understand is there's so many problems with the southern border and there's so many criminals coming in. And then I mean, Elon was just wasn't really about citizenship, right? It was only visas. These Indian
yeah,
I mean,
but
I got it, but I didn't get it, really.
because we the potential we have as a country is unlike anyone anywhere else in the world, and
Yeah.
it's because of like our European heritage,
Mhm.
those types of people, and they're forgotten. They're being, they're passed over, and it's easier for Elon and his buddies in tech to hire a bunch of Indians who will do the job for like a fraction of the price because they live like 10 people in one house, and um, if you really cared about the country, you wouldn't push for that argument of like importing people because they're exceptional. When in reality, if you look at the average IQs of Indians, they're not impressive. Like I mean, we have that brain power in our country and we're not using it, and I think it's sad.
I think the situation, what as I understood it, he needed a like a sweatshop for coders and
Yeah,
just put a dark room, put some Indians in there to
yeah.
just code, not think. And do you really want to put Americans in there and not just a couple of Indians and then the good jobs you could give to the Americans?
No,
No?
no,
Okay.
because if anything, I think the mentality of the tech world needs to have a moment of reflection and like think to themselves like, do we really need this? Let's just focus on stuff that are like really essential, not food delivery apps or dating
Right.
apps
Right.
or like
But
really
Elon
essential
is
shit.
creating a lot of great stuff, right? You think it's all bullshit, right?
No, I think some of it is, but um, I was just generalizing with the tech
Mhm.
industry as a whole. Um, if we localized, in a sense, localized our workforce, um, I think that we would, and we had like a uniform sort of population. I think we'd care about each other a little bit more than
That's
if
not
we have
gonna
a
happen
mishmash. No, I
again,
know, but
right? I
I'm just
mean,
saying, like, if you have
yeah.
a mishmash of like the whole world in one place, like, you think you're going to really have leaders that care about the population? I mean, everyone seems disposable if you don't view them as like an extended family of
Mhm.
yours. So, I mean, that's the problem with globalism as a whole. And when you have true nationalism, like you will care about what your society eats. You will care about the health of your society, the happiness of your society. You will care whether they're on SSRIs and all those things. But if it's like a so-called melting pot of people from all over the world, you're not going to care. You're not going to care about everyone. And I'm not saying that I want leaders to like care about me as an individual, but I would like them to care about society and the general health and happiness and
Yeah.
well-being of it.
I just think it's funny that everybody hates Indians so much and they're just Oompa
Yeah,
Loompas. I mean, yeah, okay.
they're
Um,
stinky and they're backstabbers. They're backstabbers. They're weird. Their diet is weird. They're overly horny. Like everything about them is
yeah,
weird.
it's true. I mean, yeah. So we're getting to the end. It was nice catching up with you, Josh. I was trying to buy sport
Yeah,
drink in Germany.
sport
I
drink.
know it's expensive to send it to me, but just a t-shirt. What's on the t-shirt? It's censored, I think, in the shop. What is
Oh,
the line?
I think it's censored because we say retard.
That's what it is.
Let me
Okay,
see
I
if I
want to
can
get
find
one.
it. Yeah, let me see if
I'm buying. I'm paying for the. It's
okay,
not
I'll
that
read it
heavy,
to you.
right?
I mean, we don't ship. We only ship right now to U.S. and
I
Canada.
know,
So
but the
let
drink
me
is
read
so
it to you.
heavy.
Let me read you the shirt.
Okay.
And the sport drink is the last man in the sports hydration arena. Real ingredients, no artificial sugars, full hydration. Mix well with a cold glass of unfluoridated water and enjoy. Sport drink is a perfect blend to replace what your body sweats out during athletic pursuits. Trust no other, especially not those retards at Gatorade.
I want to get one, a large.
I know, I know.
Can I?
Eventually,
Okay. I'm going to
eventually.
send you the money.
Yeah, don't do that.
Okay.
Eventually, we'll send it to you. Yeah.
Okay, Josh. Thanks for catching up. Have a great day.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good. Take care.
You too.